Hellfire is a burning somewhere. Gotta throw the Yule on fire. Come on down to the witch's bonfire. Hello Kitty, it's time to die. Come on.
Hello, everyone. This is the Lone Wolf, and this is the Lone Wolf Show. And as usual, we have a very special guest, and her name is Lady Rhea. Lady Rhea, how are you this evening?
Oh, thank you for having me on the show. I'm honored to be here, and I'm in great spirits this evening. I've been working all night on candles because now the stores are carrying them instead of me having the store. I'm now wholesaling to certain stores in New York and in New Jersey, and they're carrying my candles. And people still order them online, or clients will call me up, Rhea, I need a candle. I'm like, okay, I got you. Don't worry. And I still make candles for people. But mostly right now I'm operating more through stores, 2 stores exact. It's a lot of work to supply 2 stores.
Right.
It's like owning one. If I was owning it myself, that's how much the supply. I make everything myself. I've had artists over the years work with me, other spiritual candle artists. I've trained many people over the years on how to create them. People buy my book and learn how to make it themselves, which is why I wrote it in the first place. I first published The Enchanted Candle 1986, and self-publishing in 1986 was, not a common thing. And I self-published, and I've seen that original copy online selling for $1,000. I was like, whoa, that's crazy. But anyway, so that I'm talking about the 1986 version. It was a spiral-bound, plastic-bound, cardboard-covered book, literally, that I went to a printing company and just had them run off 500 copies. And I numbered the first 500 myself and signed them all. And they all sold, and they've been selling ever since.
So when did you start making candles, and how did you learn that craft?
Well, in 1979, I was working for the Magical Child, and Herman and I were also in the same coven from 1973. I was initiated into the coven with Herman, Eddie, and Herman. Eddie was my initiator, and Herman was our elder. And that was the New York Wicca. And then later on, he moved the Warlock shop at that time in Brooklyn Heights. It moved to Manhattan, 19th Street, and it became the Magical Child. So I was working in there, and I was kind of like the floor manager. I read cards, I made oils, I floated around, sold herbs, books, crystal balls, crystals, statues. It was a remarkable place. The Warlock shop and the Magical Child were both otherworldly stores. And later on, I opened up Enchantments in 1982 with Carol Bullzone. But at that time, we had a delivery of candles coming in, and he was going out to lunch. So he said to me, Rhea, I left you a blank check. I signed it. When the Crusader comes and makes the delivery, you know what to do. Count the boxes, make sure it's, what they're giving me the bill for is all there. Fill in the amount and give them the check. So I did. And it was 26 cases of candles. And I had a reading. So I'm sitting there with this lady, and I'm reading her cards, and she had 3 children. She left her husband. She was living with her sister. She needed money. She didn't know what she was going to do. And we were selling these kits that were $25, and they were worth it. They were loaded with all kinds of instructions and powders and candles and oils and baths and quills and parchments. It was a really loaded, nice box. But she didn't have $25. And Herman came back from lunch and he started screaming death threats with my name attached to it as he was going to kill me. And I'm sitting there with this woman saying, why am I going to die? So I go up front and I said, Herman, what's the matter? And he said to me, you signed for pullouts, you sugar broad, pullouts. And I said, what's a pullout? And so he pulled out this green candle and started shaking it at me. And it was bouncing up and down in the glass. We had never seen this. He was buying 26 cases of plain 7-day colors, which is what we normally sold. I had signed for pullouts, which was like, I'd say maybe $10 more a case. So when you add up, that's another $260 added to the bill. He was not happy. Oh, he was not happy. And I really wanted to keep my job and keep developing my witch life in New York. So I grabbed the candle and I thought about it. And I ran to the back and I took an X-Acto, because we used to use X-Actos to paste our own newsletters, our own headlines, and print, cut and paste. So I took the X-Acto and I carved a money pyramid, 13, going up on one side, and on the flip side, I put a dollar bill sign, and then I oiled it with money oil, and we had gold glitter back there because we did a lot of crafting. And I took wax paper and I threw all the gold glitter on the wax paper. I laid the candle down. I picked up either end. I rolled it like this, put it back in the jar, threw more gold glitter on top. I had magnetic sand in the bottom and everything, honey. I brought it up front to the counter and I said to Herman, how much? And he started dancing in his chair because he realized I had figured out a way to use these candles. And he said, $3. And I said, sold. I sold them all. And I started keeping files on different designs that were being given to me by Clinton Stephen, who was a voodoo priest, a white voodoo priest. He was from the South. He was the most adorable little gay boy. And he would give me all types of sigils and teach me things. And I started compiling them until I started creating my own sigils. And then more and more went on the candles. And then eventually I published a book.
Nice.
It was an accident.
It was an accident.
That's when the best things happen. Divine inspiration.
Yeah. It was also, I wanted to live. Herman had a terrible, terrible temper. Really, he would blow up like, he was an Aquarius with Aries rising and an Aries moon. Oh yeah, he can come right at you. Boom. I miss him. I miss him and Eddie Terrible. We all of us that knew them well, to this day, miss them. Rhiannon, one of his workers and his high priestess, she has a whole page up for the Magical Child on Facebook, and we all go on there and share memories. And Michael Lloyd wrote a book, The Bull of Heaven, and it's all about the life and times of the rise of the New York pagan. And it's about Eddie's life, Herman's life, my life, everybody's life, the Warlock Shop, all the history of the life of Eddie, and how he created this tradition that's lived on. It's now in Europe. My book, The Enchanted Candle, is because of the initiations in France. They love the book, and one of them translated the book from English into French, and I'll be published May of 2023 in France.
Nice.
So it's my first European footprint.
Congratulations.
Thank you. I'm very excited about it and very grateful to this coven in France that loves our tradition created by Eddie so much and has been so kind to me. And when they fell in love with the work and the book, the candle work itself, let me explain, it's very meditative. because you're writing letters to deity in wax. So it's symbology, it's symbols, it's like hieroglyphics or Sanskrit or our lettering. Anything that creates a story or an image is an energy form. So when I started carving these candles, I actually talked to the candle. I talked to the wax in the sense that I'm telling a story. I'm writing a letter on a wax tablet. And those images are going to, as they know, energy dies, as the candle burns down, those images become life in the astral plane. They become a life force energy. It's a story that's being created. And so what vibrates to the heavens comes back down to earth. So that's how they work. And sometimes I'll use a symbol like road opener, which is actually essentially, it says Om Gam at the top, and then the pentagram at the bottom is the person, man, and the arrow of power on the other side is saying we're shooting it up. So there's a moon up, a moon down, and a moon either way, and there's 4 going this way. So it's Om Gam, man is asking to release the prayer, open the road. So it's a road opener. And I might put road opener on one side and Lakshmi on the other, or Santa Muerte on the other, because Ganesha is Mercury, and Mercury can go through any realm. He's the communicator between all the gods. So even death has its own communicator, has its own Mercury. So I'll mix Ganesha with Santa Muerte. And you know what? All of these things of, oh, you can't mix deities. No, you can, because that's us that have these issues about mixing.
Limited beliefs.
Yeah, the deities don't. They live in, I believe personally, the deities live in neighborhoods. Like all the love gods live in one neighborhood, all the protection gods live in another, the money gods live in another. And they kind of like float in and out of each other's worlds, but so they have some similar energies. Like devotees of Kali, she gives great wealth to her devotees as well as supreme protection from all harm. So, I mean, like, you know, some deities have multi-level functions.
What god or goddess do you think corresponds to something of candle making?
Ah. Well, all of them, but I think that my core goddess, I would have to say, would be Demeter, mother, the mothering, because the candle making is very mothering. It's to writing letters to cure people's harm, to cure people's lives, to help enhance love, to bring them financial blessings, to bring them peace and protection, to bring them in a way of saying thank you. Some people make them out of gratitude to say thank you to the deities that have given to them. So, but I would say it's the Earth Mother. Yeah, it's very earthy. It's an earthy practice.
Lady Rhea, have you ever had folks come to you and ask you to prepare baneful candles for them?
Sure.
And do you go along with it, or you just...
Soap, and I had no idea. Okay, we're back. Okay, so.
Some didn't like that question.
Yeah, so we'll ask another question.
Oh, but it was all right. I would answer it.
Okay.
For sure. People come to me for baneful candles. Mm-hmm. I make Santa Muerte on black. I make Kali on black. And if I don't, if they're doing it for their right of protection, you know, that's how I'll look at it. If you're asking me to go hurt someone, no, that's not my job. If I make you a black Santa Muerte or a black Kali, and you're using it for what you feel you want to use it for. It's not in my karma. You know what I'm saying? I disavow myself about how I can make you a beautiful candle and you could still be wishing harm to someone. I can't control human beings, but I don't condone it. No, but for protection, yes.
Oh, I feel like you're pretty adept to candle making in itself. Do you ever have to draw upon like it seems like if you were to draw if you had a question that you had trouble with your craft, where would you go to for advice or guidance at this point?
I don't understand.
I can reword it better.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
You mean who do I go to
Yes.
for help?
Yes.
Nobody.
Okay. Okay.
My coven. I call them up and I moan. That's about it. My wife, my daughter. But as far as magical practitioners, I have a lot of them that I look up to, you know, but we're all on our own page.
So going back to your beginnings, how did you grow up and how did you find your path?
I grew up in the Bronx, and I grew up right above Bronx Park East. So I was in the park a lot. We kids were very fascinated with Fantasia, and we imitated being fairies or the centaurs or you know, mining for gems like the dwarves. We were very earth. Our games were very Fantasia, very earth oriented. We had tea parties with the gods. We were a very imaginative group, you know. Even my father used to talk about the Roman gods. We were Italian, still are Italian. And I love the Greco-Roman gods. I feel very close to them. But when it came to doing candle art, that's more of, there's a lot of Haitian influence in it because of the love spells. There are some spells that are more, you know, like different marriages of different energies of different types. There's symbols for Mercury were used in there. Symbols of rainbows were used in there. Symbols of chalices is there. Symbols of swords, moons, squares. So the four elementals is in the when you look at employment pyramid, it's the square for Earth. Okay, it's the circle for air, it's the triangle for fire, and it's the moon for water. So the four elements, same thing like house blessing has the elements in it. So sometimes I use those. It's just what struck me. It was like I was being instructed through spirit all my life. You know, it's kind of like, in Harry Potter when they said, we have a witch in the family. I really always felt that way. I was the witch in the family. There was no one else practicing like me or praying to saints to resolve problems growing up as a young Catholic girl, lighting candles in church, praying to saints. Lighting incense and humming over it. As a kid, incense cones were kind of popular, and my mother bought me a set of incense cones with a little Buddha incense burner because I really wanted it. And when I brought it home, I made her light it for me. I was 7, and I sat in front of it, and I just kept moaning. I don't know what I was doing, but I was like, I knew I was doing magic. I knew I was like trying to feed into this air rising, and lots of earth magic. I mean, to this day, I still, when I go out for a walk, collect little pieces of nature. Every autumn I carry in different colored fall leaves, put them on the altar, and then as they dry up, I throw those out and I go out and gather more. Always pine cones, acorns, birds' nests, birds' eggs. I feed all the birds outside. They line up in the morning on the fence, and the messenger will come to the window to let me know, like, hello, where's the seed, lady? Give it up. And I go out because I feed them at night. So in the morning when they wake up, the food is out there. But then once it's finished, they come looking for me. They got a ring in my nose on a short chain. Then the cat's outside, the squirrels. I love nature. And when I feed them, I communicate my thoughts. I bless the seeds. The birds are the messengers. They carry the messages through the air. So if you put good thoughts into the seed and they're eating it, so they're carrying your messages. I do magic like that, a lot of earth magic, as well as candle making. But I've been making these candles now since 1979. And at this stage in life, I don't want to own a store. I don't want to be tied to a key. And I don't, and the bills and this and that. I still got to take care of taxes because I'm a business, but not like owning a store and oh, please. I did that for so many years, and I'm just so happy now. I have my studio. This is my studio. This is the room where I light candles. These are all for customers, people that can't burn candles, or some people just feel like, I want your power in it. I want your prayers. So they're all labeled, and I just light them for as many hours as I'm working. And then when I'm finished, I turn them all off. I have two sets going. I have one set that's just people who pray to Santa Muerte. And all of these are people who pray, different things on crossing, love, money. I have Hecate here. I have my own label that I've started designing for my candle work from my book. That's been fun. And they carry them at EV Florist on 247 East 10th Street. And at Botanica San Lazzaro, 261 Crooks Avenue in Clifton, New Jersey, and Leroy on East Chester Road in the Bronx. Those three stores, but mostly EV Florist and Botanica San Lazzaro order the most from me. They order a lot of candles.
So do you have a number one selling candle?
I think, I don't know. I think Money Mist, if I would say the categories, in the white categories, I'd say the Uncrossing is the most popular in white candles. And second to that would be White Tara. In the pink, I would say Love Healing, and then Love Uncrossing. In the red, I would say it's a toss up between Come to Me and Sorceress. And in the green, I would say it's Money Mist and Lakshmi. And then Road Openers, very popular. But I think Uncrossing is the most I get. I sell a lot of those.
And what does that one help you with?
Uncrossing is to help resolve problems. It's for spiritual debris. When you've taken on, like, sometimes people know I'm getting hit with some negative energy, but I'm going to fight it off. It's like you're fighting off a cold. And after a while, it builds up and you start feeling like, I got so many issues. And I don't know how to think this through. I don't know how to think that out. So Uncrossing removes the negative debris that we've gathered. I say, like, you should do them once a month, really. And it's actually, the candle is really the spiritual force of Elegua. And Elegua is also considered guardian angel. So it's all of that type of energy, Elegua, I love Elegua. He's one of my favorite gods in Santeria. And that's because he runs the streets. See, he knows where to find things. He knows where to go look in those dark corners of where something is lurking in your life, like a spiritual spot you just can't shake off. So that's why it's a very popular candle. That's what it does. It resolves problems.
What about correspondences? Like if you were to create a candle on a Friday, I mean, it would be a good time to make a pink candle for love and etc. Do you do that in practice?
For myself, yeah. For making them, they're a lot of work. I mean, it's washing glasses first, because I'm not going to put a beautiful candle inside a dirty glass, because they're loose. So in the travel, the wax candle is banging against the glass. It's making all kinds of marks and makes it cloudy. So that's the first step. Then carving all the candles that I'm going to make, because when I bring them to these stores, I'm making 2 dozen, 3 dozen, 4 dozen at a time. And that's days and days and days and days and days of work. Because then they're all carved. Now they all have to be lined up, and oil's chosen to be what oil is going to be used on each candle is different. And then the glittering, depending on how intricate the candle is the glitter going to behave? And then the other thing is choosing the colors. Choosing colors of glitter is left up to the spiritual force. So here's how this works. From the minute I start carving that candle, I know I am making it destined for someone. So I have to immediately start thinking about whose spirit is connected to, who's buying this candle in the future, whose spirit is connected to this work. What do they need? And then I listen to the colors. The glitter tells me what to do. I listen to what colors go on that candle. So if I'm making a money mist, I might hear you're going to make the money symbol gold, and you're going to outline it in green, and then you're going to outline the moon in purple. You're going to fill it in with gold, and then you're going to add a green Taurus on the top. The next candle's completely different colors, everything. Otherwise, I could just line them up and make them all the same, right? Yeah. It doesn't work like that. Each one is different. They're very individual, and they belong to certain people. Yeah. They have to come and find them. So there's a spiritual connection between my candle making and everyone I make them for. That's why I say, but if it comes to I'm making a black candle, okay, and you're going to use it for something negative, I've disavowed myself from that from when I made it. I set the intention. This is what it's for. That's it. Yeah. If I feel that someone's just being nasty, which I don't get those type of people, you know. Mostly when they write to me, you do revenge spells, I write back, no. I'm also Buddhist, you know, so I'm a Wiccaboo, actually. I'm very actively practicing Buddhist as well as witch. I do a lot of classes on tarot. I do talks about some of the deities of the Bun tradition. I do tarot practice. The practices I do with Lakshmi and Ganesha are all Buddhist. They were given to me by a Buddhist priest. He gave them to me, and he told me that these were jewels, seed jewels, that he was planting in my hands for the future. So that was 1983, 85, yeah, in that period of time.
A lot of folks,
they have a wonderful magical system, and a very, very relatable to Wicca is, and they harm none. Mm-hmm. So it's good for this type of practice. Whereas when working with Santeurian gods, and I keep everything completely vegetarian with them. You know, so it's how I view things.
Since the late 1970s to modern times, we've seen an influx in paganism, in witchcraft, things like candle magic. Um, have you seen a lot of changes within the communities?
Sure. And there's a lot of disregard for the millennial TikTok, which is by the traditionalists, and I'm just like, everyone, when we were witches coming out, in the beginning, and we're very traditionalist, we're a secret society. We call ourselves the hidden children of the goddess. Um, there's a difference between traditional witchcraft and spellcasting witches, and I think that, and then there are a lot of kids out there, millennials, that are in covens and they're serious and they worship the old gods. And so, I mean, like, when we first started doing it, everybody thought we were freaks, we were crazy. I lost a lot of friends trying to explain to them that I was in this coven and that I wasn't a Satanist.
Yeah.
It was 73. It was not, it was like, it was cool to be a hippie, but, to go into Rosemary's Baby, like, what's wrong with you? I'm like, no, it's nothing like that. We had books like What Witches Do and Mastering Witchcraft, which was really written about these very arcane ceremonies. And it was going to the warlock shop. And then there was this one store called Blessed Are the Blessed Be. And he was more of a Hollywood type of staging for witchcraft, Herman was pagan, and that's how I went. I went to a pagan way. I walked through that door, that pagan way, on a Sunday for Harvest Home, and I never walked out. I walked through that door, and it's been my life ever since. Ever since. And because it was always in my life. I always liked the old gods. I liked old ways of praying to saints and praying to Mother Mary. And, I noticed that a lot of goddess worshippers were all Mary worshippers, Marians, when they were kids. Very Mary oriented. Mm-hmm.
What's your advice to the new school?
Well,
The new wave.
Study hermetics. You really want to learn magic, put your nose into some hermetics. And if also, I say that if you want to learn magic, look for anything like creative visualization written by Ophiel, Ophiel. It's still available out there. And who's really good for teaching you how to think is The Secret, or The Magic, also written by Rhonda Byrne, is interesting because she teaches you about gratitude and what gratitude gives you. And my teacher always told me that the gods were like children. You had to show them gratitude first when you were asking for something, not wait till you received it. And she teaches the same thing in this book called The Magic. I think that what I advise young witches to do is, you can learn all about the gods all you want. But if you want to practice magic with the gods, you need to learn hermetics. You need to learn creative visualization. You need to learn how to think if you want your marriage to become manifestation. And keep your ideals and your integrity and your heart pure. Because that, if you're really interested in being a witch and with the gods, the old ones, you have to keep your integrity. We have laws in our books of shadows that don't allow us to do a lot of things, and we have to stick by them. So yeah, keep your integrity. Learn creative visualization. Learn hermetics. Hermetic sciences are what made me who I am. I was studying hermetic sciences before I discovered the enchanted candles. So that's what I would say.
Are you going to put another book out?
Yes. Yes, I am. I'm doing I'm writing a book this time. Alexander Cabot and I are getting together a book from his perspective, because he's also a santero, and so a Cuban priest, because he's from Cuba, so he learned the old ways, and he also his family was involved in Masonic lodges, so he's putting together his perspective on herbs and what he learned, and I'm sharing my secret recipes for herbal practices, and we're doing the enchanted herbal together. So we're looking forward to that. We're writing it now.
Is there a anticipated release date?
No, we're going to see after we finish putting it together. We're going to send out proposals to different publishers instead of self-publishing this time. So we'll see what happens. Either way, it'll get published.
Yes.
Where's a good place to find your existing book? Amazon?
Amazon, EV Florist, and Botanica San Lazzaro all carry my books, and they do ship. And they ship their products too. They're great. They ship my products too, which is easier.
How does one get a signed copy of your book?
From EV Florist, or if you contact me, say, Lady Rhea, I want a copy of your book. And I'll say, okay, wait, I got to order some. I'm so busy making candles, honestly. It's actually tonight I was going to set this up at my candle station where you first saw me. And I was going to tell everybody, okay, I have to work and talk at the same time. But then I said, you know what? Let me just share my beautiful candle altar with everyone.
Do you ever do workshops online that people can join you and watch you make them?
Oh, yeah, with esoteric.nyc. We're planning some online. We did online for most of COVID. I had the Enchanted Cafe on Thursday nights. Free classes. When I go to EV Florist, I do free classes.
What's the name of your website?
Lady Rhea Inc. or Magical Realms, MAGICALREALMS, Magical Realms. Either way, you'll find me, LadyRheaInc.com or LadyRhea.com. I come up. I'm a brand. Never in my life, when I first walked through that door, did I see any of this coming. That day, I went to the Warlock shop to buy a crystal ball, and he was quite a character. It was the first time I had been in there, and then he was looking at me and my first husband then, and he said, you two are cute. You want to come to a pagan way? And I looked at him, and I said, if there are Satanists there, I'm not coming. And he said to me, no, they're pagans. They're high priests and high priestesses. Darling, you'll love it. Don't worry. Come. So the following Sunday, I was all excited because I knew we were going to go to a circle and we were going to get to worship the goddess together. And I stopped at a florist and I purchased a huge white football pom-pom flower, and he wrapped it up like a corsage for me. And I carried it down in the box. And when I got there, I got to place it at the feet of the goddess. And I was just elated. It was a Welsh traditionalist group. My first craft was in Welsh traditional. We were red robed. I still every now and then do Welsh traditional work. My initiator back then, Lord Tammuz, passed away about 2-3 years ago now. And he's greatly missed. And Lady Vivian has passed also, Kay Flagg, and she's greatly missed. But it was in her house that she hosted these pagan ways. And she had this huge living room in Brooklyn Heights apartment, huge. And we had like 25, 30 people in there hanging, all sitting in a circle. And Margot Adler would come and play guitar and entertain us with pagan songs and music. And She had a beautiful voice. Margot had a beautiful voice and a beautiful way about her. She was also in the Welsh tradition.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, we all started out on the same path together. So, then later on, I started working at the Warlock shop on a part-time basis. And my husband became a full-time person there, shipping and weighing herbs, selling product. It was a crazy place. It's in story for another time. But thank you for having me on tonight. I do appreciate being here.
You're
And
welcome. We're so happy that you came on to join us.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have any last messages for anyone out there, the young ones or the seekers or your fans?
blessed Yule. Have a fabulous winter solstice coming December 21st. Practice the Sabbats. Keep them in your heart. And if you can't find a coven, you can always find online groups to engage with. Always check out, like Selena Fox is one of my heroes in this community. She's done a lot. She does a lot of open circles. Check her out. Check out all of them. They're all great. It's just get some good teachers. But always remember we have an expression. May the gods preserve the craft, and may the craft preserve the gods. So mote it be.
So mote it
Mote it be for sure.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Lady Rhea.
Let's be merry, 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 merry Yule to everyone. And I hope that your winter is bright with lights and love and laughter and magic is afoot.
Yes.
See you soon.